Do you have a teenager who is always exhausted, constantly exhausted, or they are unmotivated, and maybe they begin to tell you things like, I feel stuck, especially when it comes to maybe academics or creative expressions? Today's session, in this video, I want to talk to you about some common mental health issues that young people are frequently being exposed to, as we have seen, and how these issues can impact your teenager. All right, like I said, the very common ones, things like stress, anxiety, low self-esteem, maybe even depression. Because expression for a young person and creativity, well, I think this is general. It will have to require a mind that is healthy, a mind that is free, a mind that is unclogged for healthy self expressions to begin to thrive. And so there is a link between your child's mental health and their ability to be creative. There's a link between their mental health and their ability to thrive in different other areas of their life, including the academics and relationships and what have you. Let's begin with anxiety and stress, which I believe are very silent stress killers. Even as an adult, if you have run a very stressful life, there is such a thing as burnout. For young people, this appears as pressure from school, it appears as social expectation, it also appears as constant comparisons. Maybe you're the one that is constantly comparing your child with another teenager in the street, or you're comparing them with another person in their class, or they are exposed to the internet and they are constantly comparing themselves with what they see on the internet. And it might not be even public internet, it could be a class WhatsApp group with their peers where school has closed though, but there's something that they are still having to talk about, and then they are constantly being exposed to that place of comparing themselves with one another. You know the saying that they that compare themselves by themselves are not wise, because that in itself can damage the ability for your child to be creative and to be expressive. What stress does is that it shifts the brain into survival mode. So your mind begins to work just to keep you barely awake, just to keep you barely alert, just to, I dare say, keep you barely alive. And then there is little room for deep thinking, there is little room for effectiveness or productivity, let alone for being creative. Is there a way that we can help young people to reduce pressure? I had a conversation I shared with our community recently, and it is about reducing the fear of perfection, fear of failure. And I believe it's one thing that can help a lot of young people overcome stress and anxiety. Because exactly what are you anxious about? You're anxious about the things that you want to perform at, the things that you want to do well at, and other related issues like that. Encourage your teenager to get into intentional stress relieving activities. I'm always talking about journaling because there's a whole lot that a young person can benefit from just by practicing the discipline and the discipline of journaling, relieving stress, the ability to sit down at the end of the day and write on paper, pouring out whatever it is that is going on in their mind. Encourage them to practice mindfulness activities. Yeah, encourage them to get into. There are a number of things that qualify as mindfulness activities. Meditation is one of them. Sitting quietly, self-reflection, breathing exercises, even prayer, even worship. Okay, just sitting in a space where they are able to commune with their spiritual self. They're able to deal with God on a personal level is worship. It doesn't have to be loud and noisy and all of those things that we have interpreted in the 21st century as worship. I like the popular song when the music fades and everything else is stripped away, and then you come humbly and then you're able to practice worship. I'm talking about real, genuine, mindful activities that can help your teenager understand how to intentionally relieve stress and relieve themselves of anxiety. And I want to ask, as an adult, have you been able to how have you been able to manage stress? How have you been able to manage anxiety? Because one way to help a young person is if you can show empathy, if you can share your own experiences, and you have developed healthy ways of dealing with these problems that are common to everyone else. The other mental health issue most popular with young people is a low sense of self-worth. And this is when a teenager stops believing in their ability to be great, stops believing in their ability to be creative, stops believing in their ability to be who God says they are. Many teenagers don't see their ideas as good enough, and then it leads them to give up even before they start on any project, even before they start out on any activity. As I say this now, I remember a particular young boy that I am going to have to reach out to after this video, because I see this happening to our young, and it's amazing. When I say young people, I'm talking about as young as 12, I'm talking about as young as 10, and what our society has created, or the society that we have built, that is able to put a child in this kind of uncomfortable position, just to say the least. If a child stops taking creative risk, they will stop growing. If a child is afraid to venture, is losing their confidence and their skill, what else can they do? I pray. What else can they do? Help your child recognize and affirm their strengths, their creative efforts, not just the result. Help your child celebrate and affirm, oh, I like how much effort you put into producing or writing this poem. I like how much hard work you put into cleaning your room. I like how much, intentionality you put into making sure that you are in a good relationship with your siblings, things like that. Everything might not be perfect, but you must be intentional about celebrating the efforts that they are making and the processes that they are going through, not only the results that they are generating. And then, like I said earlier, share stories, share your own stories, share your own struggles. If a child understands that they are not alone in whatever it is that they are feeling, it helps to strengthen their confidence, it helps to strengthen their self-esteem. Can we talk about emotional exhaustion amongst teenagers? When, as a young person, life already feels too overwhelming, like there are so many things to juggle, and exactly when am I going to finish all of these activities? This is why I encourage parents, please and please and please allow children to be children. Don't force a child to become an adult overnight. If you rob a child of her or his childhood, it will haunt them in the future. All this putting Brazilian wig and human hair on top of toddler's head, you are punishing the child. Allow young persons to be young persons. All this trying to dress up a 13-year-old girl like it was some 45-year-old business executive is punishment. It is not class. Boiling it back down to creativity. Your creativity, genuine and authentic creativity, requires an emotional strength, an emotional base to be able to express. So if your child is already emotionally exhausted, no wonder you complain about every other performance issue. But I'm here to remind you today that these are not performance issues. These are mental issues. Because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Are you going to be a safe space for your child? Are you going to be, is your family a safe environment for your teenager where they can express their thoughts and their feelings without fear of judgment? Is your home that place where small, fun, and creative activities are expressed, where they can reignite their genuine passions without comparison, without fear of judgment, and without all of those other things that come in the mix? Make your family, make your home a low stress environment where young people have the permission to explore, where they have the permission to make mistakes. It is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to learn on the job. And this in turn is supposed to help them build confidence. When when I speak to families, I talk about the family time, the devotion, the family meeting time. How that you don't want to make that a place of judgment. You don't want to come to your morning devotion. And that's when you start reading scriptures that condemn your children. You want to hand over an activity like morning devotion to your children to learn how they are understanding the scriptures they are reading, hear from their perspective. Yes, you're going to balance the thoughts at the end of the day, but you want to make it a place where they look forward to showing up every morning. Help them build their confidence and encourage emotional wellness. Some of the activities I've mentioned in these videos and in this video and several other videos where I've talked about them. Encourage emotional wellness. There are activities that build emotional wholeness. Journaling is one of them. Exercising is one of them. Prayer is one of them. Worship is one of them. Okay, hanging out with friends is one of them. Going out to play a sport is one of them. Swimming is very enhancing. All right, and I can go on and on. But you have to lead the way as a parent. You have to provide direction. as a parent, because this is going to be a lifelong journey for your child, and you want them to start out on the right footing. Your teenager's creativity, your teenager's self-expression is a gift that they have, and it is their gift to the world. So if you can help them circumvent these mental health issues that may be holding them back, then we can help them thrive. We can help them thrive. Let me hear from you in the comment section. This particular conversation is dear to my heart because, of course, there's some other things around mental health that I may not agree with, but this conversation is very, very dear to my heart because I've seen young people experience setbacks and never able to come back from it. Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who's going to find it helpful as well. And until I come your way again, please keep thriving.